So you want to know what to expect this month? Today you'll receive predictions, blessings, and advice to help you live your best life in May 2020. Today's Pick a Card reading will offer you insight from Spirit for all of your choices and opportunities this month. Even if you catch this video after May 2020, you can still treat it as a timeless monthly reading. Hey Soul Family, I'm Psychic Tana Newberry. Welcome to the video and thanks for being here. For notifications of when a new Pick a Card reading is available or to catch me on one of my live psychic reading broadcasts, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. All right, let's jump in. Time to pick a deck. Today I have 4 decks for you, and the way this Pick a Card reading works, as many of you may know, is you tune into the deck so you can take a deep breath with me right now, ask to connect to your higher guidance, and ask that the right deck really stand out to you. I'll introduce them in a moment, and then you can go down to the timestamps in the comments and skip right to the deck you choose. First, let's look at deck number 1. It is under a Lapis Lazuli crystal, really beautiful. It's got those gold flecks as it does. Notice if you're feeling a draw and a pull towards deck number 1. Deck number 2 is under a Chinese Fluorite crystal. It is a very powerful healing crystal. I love this stone. Feel the pull, if so, towards deck number 2, if this is your deck. Deck number 3 has been placed under an Aqua or a Quartz. This is also a very beautiful crystal. Notice if you're feeling really drawn and feeling the pull towards deck number 3. And lastly, deck number 4, I'm showing you here, and this is under a beautiful Amazonite crystal. I love all my stones. I love all my stones. I love Amazonite as well. Notice if you're feeling drawn towards deck number 4. Time to go down to the timestamp, tap your deck, and let's get started. Welcome deck 1. Okay, predictions, blessings, and advice about May 2020 or your chosen month. First card out of the bag. I love this. This is actually the signature card in this deck. This is a Gabby Bernstein deck. It is called The Universe Has Your Back. And here is the signature card of the entire deck, reminding you just that very fact. The universe has your back. This implies from a psychic perspective, and I'm feeling very strongly that Spirit is hearing you. Okay, Spirit hears you. And it's not that you have to pray or have some formal process. Spirit hears your heart. It's aware of the things you want. It's been aware of the things you've been thinking. Yes, your fears, your concerns, but also your dreams and your aspirations, your ideas about maybe switching the game up and doing something a little different, those risks, right? So Spirit is just taking this opportunity and saying, you know what, my love, my beloved, we've got you. We have a plan for you. Okay, so universe has your back. Next card in the deck is Dwelling in Truth. I stand in the light of truth. And what does it mean to stand in the light of truth? It means that we're not in any darkness. Darkness is confusion. Darkness is feeling like you're blocked. Darkness is feeling the opposite of enlightened or illuminated. You feel that there's an empty space. This could be because you have questions that you haven't quite found the answers to, or problems that you haven't quite solved. But again, the universe confirming that it has your back, meaning we're here for you. We will solve these questions with you together. Standing in truth, though, also sort of begs and asks you this month, May 2020, if you will, to consider what really feels good to you and what doesn't feel good, and to be aware of that and okay with that and work with that information moving forward. Because the Spirit doesn't say, hey, I don't just have your mediocre hopes and dreams or your mediocre wants or desires. It has your back, meaning your entire being, your entire system of dreams and desires. So what is it that you might be afraid to look at right now? Maybe it feels a little bit like if I looked at that and then I didn't think it was possible, that would cause me sadness. The first step to figuring out where we want to get you and living your best life in May 2020 is to take an honest look at what is there when the light is turned on? What are we looking at when we're looking truly at what you desire and what you truly want, okay? This is a time right now where a lot of people are going through some refocusing, some changing. This might be the time that they're talking about. And the next card in the deck is an animal spirit. Mouse spirit, super cute. Tend to the small things. It is small things. It's baby steps. It's so hard to say this thing I would rather be doing or this thing I would rather have that is seen at its fulfillment. My life doesn't look like that and I have no idea where to start. But there are certain things that are accessible to you. Spirit is, they're giving me that promise, you know? Spirit does that to me. They go like this. So for deck 1, if you have something that you are maybe trying to look at or shift into, if you're to be honest and stand in truth and not be afraid that you don't have the answer yet because it's a problem just to solve and to start picking away at, they're saying start small, the little things that you can change, the little things that you can affect and influence. Not getting too wrapped up in the entirety of the outcome and thinking it's so far away that we don't know how that occurs. Just ask what does occur to you. Ask what is relevant at this moment and registering in your brain as something you could be doing. Spirit says that having your back, dwelling in truth, and mouse spirit. Beautiful. The next card I want to add is, artist. I love this card. Engaging in artistic activities is beneficial to your career and every other area of your life. So if we're looking at blessings, I think one of the blessings that I feel for you, deck 1, is enlightenment into the fact that you really are someone who wants to build something, create something. The artist card a lot of times talks about, painters and writers and dancers, and I can appreciate that. If that's you, I see you. But if it's not just that, if it's just that you want to build something, you want to create something, you want to mold something out of your own life and say, this I have made, whether it's a business or a work of expression. These are the type of things that Spirit is saying, we see this, we hear this, we know this of you, and we want this. This is what we're supporting. Also, if we're looking at blessings from a perspective of blessings coming in May, this card indicates from a psychic perspective that there are breakthroughs on this front this month and the month of May if we focus on the small things. Maybe it's implementation, maybe it's small bits of research, but it is all for the purpose of creating that which this is talking about. The next card is let go. Walk away from this situation in order to resolve it. So I do see, deck 1, an indication that there could be some walking away from certain elements of things you're committed to in order to make room for the new things that you may decide you want to commit to. This is not to be something that is to scare you. It's meant to be an opportunity for growth. It should be exciting. But when it's not, the first thing is, again, to dwell in the truth. Let the truth of, does this feel good or does this not feel good, guide you as to what things are the things to let go of and what things are the things to focus on as you build. The next card, I'm not surprised to see it all. This is change your focus. Change your focus. The change your focus card is talking just about the let go. It's the same thing. The change your focus card is really saying it's okay to go back to the drawing board. It's okay to reassess and imagine. When you renovate a home, many of you have done that before or desired to do that. What's the first thing you got to do? You got to get rid of all the walls. You got to get rid of the things that aren't going to be there and no longer going to serve the design for the new house, the new foundation. So letting go and changing the focus, changing things, tweaking things, all inspired by what is true and what is feeling good, and letting go the things that don't. These are, again, we're talking about May 2020. So these are the opportunities, these situations where you could rise to the occasion. These are both predictions of things that will happen and blessings that can occur for you. The advice is here. Change your focus is the advice. Ask yourself, where can I switch up my strategy? And the last card, seek. Yes, I do feel that many of you are in the strategy phase, which means you're doing research right now. You're deciding how exactly you're going to take this on and from what angle are you going to accomplish it. These are all beautiful questions, and I do think that this is the right month to make those moves, the right month to make those decisions or have those enlightenments. I'm really looking forward to you living this particular kind of best life in May 2020. And finally, a romance card. The situation is calling for you to have faith in your love life, my single soul family or my coupled soul family. It is time to trust in the process of love. Maybe those of you who have people at home who can support you are going to be a contribution, this love in your life, to you accomplishing your overall goals. Lean on those that you love a little bit. And if you don't have anybody to lean on, remember the highest source of love is of yourself. So trust that love is there for you, the universe has your back, and step into the future as it unfolds with the lights turned on and with the right kind of mindset, allowing you to choose in favor of what feels good and let go of what doesn't. Thank you so much, Deck 1. We'll see you next video. Well, hey there, Deck 2. Under the Chinese fluorite crystal, I'm ready to have a good time. How about you? Living your best life in May 2020. Here we go. First card out of the bat. Oh, awaiting results. Not the best news that we could get, but as long as it's true and it feels like it resonates, it's meant to bring us peace and insight into the answers we're looking for in the areas that we're trying to create change, we're trying to create growth. It could be very important for Spirit at this time to be translating to us a message, transmitting to us a message that there is a little time and that it does take that time for the certain things you want to sort of move into where they're ultimately going to be. It also is an indication that if you have been sort of playing the waiting game up until this point, this implies that if we're getting, because I read timelines all the time, right? I do future predictions. So if I ever receive something that says in May, we're waiting, it implies that the very next month, the wait is over. So for those of you who've sort of felt like your intention has sort of dragged its feet at getting accomplished, this is just a way of saying that the wait maybe a little bit longer, but then it will move into the direction you want. And that this, a lot of times, if we understand this from a spiritual and psychic perspective, is not wrong. It's not that there's a block necessarily. It's just that the timing for this to be perfect is a little bit down the road versus in this very present moment. So please have peace with the things that are moving and occurring and the things that seem to be standing still for just that moment. Let's see what else we have. The next card is the Owl Spirit. You see clearly now. You see clearly now. And I can't help but hear Spirit go, whoo, whoo. Silly animal noises. But who also says, like, to me, I'm hearing it as a joke from Spirit, but it's saying who in our life. Are we possibly waiting on somebody else's contribution? Are we possibly waiting on some other element outside of our personal space and control? If that's the case, well, that makes sense why we might be waiting a little bit for other people to get on board. Or if it's just that you see clearly now, it could be that the solutions that you need to move forward are just starting to sort of break through the surface of your conscious awareness. Therefore, applied can make change by maybe into next month. Remember, a month's time is not actually all that long to wait. I know it's frustrating sometimes to wait a little bit for the things you want, but it is the way that Spirit works when it makes things perfect. Sometimes we have to wait for that perfect point where it comes together so that the outcome we've been praying for and feeling in our heart and in our mind can actually come to pass as that thing, as that thing or as that outcome. So cute. And this owl is wearing a crown, letting us know that it is royalty, right? So it's also just saying importance, right? Relevance. All of your dreams and your desires, the idea that you're waiting, that you needed that time to see the things very clearly, and that it would now start to unfold with a little bit of time beyond this month. That is where it is supposed to be. That is the perfect expression of it all. Renewing your life. I like this card. It says, radiant vitality is filling my life. And there's this person and they're pushing a box off a ledge and it says clutter. So yes, this is about renewing is more than just getting rid of the old and making room for the new. Renewing is also reassessing. Spirit is saying, take a look at the things that are coming through your mind and your heart at this time and allow yourself the opportunity to, they're saying choose. I'm hearing the word choice. Please choose now. They're just showing me this box of clutter. You have something in your life and it's like, which box does it go into? Does it go into the good box, or does it go into the keeping box for the garage, or does it go into the, we're pushing it off the cliff and it's clutter box? So assessing and choosing these things, they're saying it's a huge part of why it's taking a little bit of time. You know, sometimes Spirit needs our cue. We hear a lot of times in the law of attraction, how is Spirit supposed to answer your request if it doesn't really actually even understand it? And while I don't want to come down on you on that, I'm going to say that this is indicating there are some opportunities to make a call. Maybe what you're waiting on is, number one, making a call, seeing things clearly, like the owl said, and then putting it into motion, which may take just an extra little step, meaning that extra little time now is starting to come into focus. The next card from the universe has your back deck. Gabby Bernstein says, my energy creates my reality. What I focus on is what I will manifest. Again, coming into clearer focus now, this reading about choice and what we decide to focus on and what's going to manifest, and a little bit of a delay in all of it and seeing things more clearly means it might be time to really, really assess where your energy is going, right? Which box to put those items in. People, jobs, situations, desires, dreams, energy levels, emotional responses, patterns and behaviors that you have from the past, or ones that you want to cultivate for the future, resources, books, podcasts, even documentaries or movies. Where do we want to invest our energy? What do we want to put our focus into? It is okay that it's taking this extra step before it gets accomplished, because you do need to decide with perfect authenticity and integrity to get the outcome you want what it is that you want. You have to take that moment and decide. And if it's not clear, you do have to sort of sit with it for a minute. So feel free to do that. Clean out the energy closet, if you will, and decide where everything goes. Next, sensitivity. You're becoming more sensitive and need to make changes accordingly. So Spirit is acknowledging for us right now that one of the blessings and predictions of May 2020 is that it is maybe time for some change. You are growing into a more sensitive, or another way of saying that is spiritual and psychic being. Your senses and your awareness and your consciousness is turned up on the dial. And when that sensitivity increases, your affinity to things that no longer are the highest vibration, they fall away. So with that extra room, what are you going to do with it? It's time to make those decisions, and becoming more sensitive will create the opportunity for these changes to occur in your life and to happen. So this is exactly the reason all of this is happening, why the whole thing is even a dance that we're doing in the first place. So I do love that. Next card is teaching. You inspire. It says young people, or people, just people. You inspire people to learn. So I really feel that Spirit is showing me that you are some of my self-help gurus that I super love, my personal development people, refer to this as being the mentor. Noticing that there are people who are watching you. Sometimes it's little people. Sometimes it's other family members. Sometimes it's your own parents. Sometimes it's just anybody that really watches you and learns from you and sort of gets to see lessons by watching you go through them. So having a mentor mentality, they say, where it's like, hey, when I come through and I teach myself first how to make these right decisions and choices, and make sure that I'm choosing with my sensitive need to make changes, I'm choosing the right things to focus on and in the right order with the right power given behind it, the right heart behind it. This whole process of you moving through this very, very elevated, enlightened sense of change and upgrade and up-leveling. You're really making an impact and influence on others in your life. And Spirit is saying that is part of the purposefulness of this whole thing happening in the first place. So pay attention to the littles or the other people that are watching you, the people you have an influence in, because these are the people that really need you to show up and have your A game. And you will, even if you think there's a block, it's not that. It's just being very, very, very looked at with detail as its priority. It wants to be perfect. It wants to be correct, and you will be seeing things more clearly. And of course, the last card is clarity of belief, and it promises clarity. It has the 1 on it. And in future predictions, I usually take this as it's either 1 month or 1 year, but we are literally having a monthly reading, and we saw the answer coming just after. So by the end of this month, you will have the answers you need. You will have the clarity that you need. Seek out clarity by that time frame. Don't sit back and allow it to just kind of not be thought about or looked at or done anything about. Just at least take a look and really think and connect and research and ask yourself the questions that would provide you the clarity, because next month it's go time. And the last card is a romance card. I don't leave you hanging. And the last card, the romance card. I love this. This is honeymoon. Enjoy the bliss of the holiday time together. Okay, so if this is romance, you are single even or coupled, this is talking about ecstatic bliss. This is talking about you really, really, really feeling good in your love life, no matter how that expresses itself in your present moment, and just feeling really connected to joy and to happiness. This also indicates a little bit about the whole journey we've been discussing during your deck number 2. This is really talking about breaking free from that point where you felt like it was stuck, and then riding down the slide, whoosh, very, very fast, and that ecstatic bliss taking hold in your life in every other way as well. Your energy level will break free and feel very, very infused with joy, happiness, bliss. It might just feel like a honeymoon. For those of you who are wondering about new love, this does indicate that there is a spike of happiness, of that bliss coming into your love life. So if you really are desiring somebody, it could be that May is the month that you start feeling good about your love life, which could imply for many of you meeting somebody who really catches your eye or stirs up that energy inside of you. For those of you who are coupled, it means that this is actually a really powerful time in your relationship. No matter where it is now, it indicates from a psychic perspective that improvement or a bit of bliss is infused into that relationship. This is a beautiful reading for love and for the deck's message that we had even before this. Ecstatic bliss is the answer for you, and don't feel that anything separates you from that, even time, even a little bit of a wait, because ultimately that is the outcome that is coming from the opportunities and situations in May 2020. I'll see you guys all on the next video. Bye-bye, Deck 2. Deck 3, how we doing? Hello, hello. We've got our Aqua Aura Quartz and our deck of cards, and here we go. First card out of the deck, oh gosh, beautiful. Brown Bear Spirit. Take time out. What does time out mean? It means stop. Stop what you're doing. Stop overthinking. Stop pushing. Stop doing too much. Just take a breather. Deck 3, my loves, have we been working very, very hard? Have we been running around in circles? Have we been overthinking? Have we been feeling frustrated? Have we been feeling like we're trying, and nothing quite happens the way we want it to? Or do you just feel that, the days go by and they're just kind of a blur? It's okay to work towards something, but every once in a while, Spirit tells us just to stand still, just to be still and let things happen to us and come into our lives. Don't feel Deck 3, hopefully, like you're just chasing all the time. What if you believed that everything you needed, Spirit could send to you? What if you believed you didn't have to chase after anything? This could be love. This could be the right job situation. There's a difference between taking guided action and chasing without faith that Spirit will bring the right opportunities, partners, and things to you. So Spirit from Brown Bear says, take time out. I really feel it's a pause, a breather, a reset. And it has a lot to do with faith. It has a lot to do with Spirit really sort of taking care of you instead of you feeling like if it is to be, it has to be up to me. Are you forgetting maybe Deck 3 that you can play catch with Spirit and it's much more effective than you running that ball around the entire field? Okay. The next card to give us more insight. In any moment, I can surrender to the powerful presence of love through prayer, contemplation, and stillness. I love how all this always works out. Any moment I can surrender. What does surrender look like? Well, it looks like we stop running. It looks like we stop, we wave the white flag, and we say, I'm done. Spirit, I can't do all of these things the way I've been doing them, trying to get the outcomes I've been trying to get, and feel like I'm beating my head against a wall over and over. What I'm doing alone in my efforts may not be working. And Spirit says, surrender to the powerful presence of love. I'm not thinking love as being vague or woo-woo or anything. I'm actually feeling that you have to believe. You have to believe, Deck 3, that Spirit or God or the universe loves you and wants for you what you want for you, what's in your heart. And I tell you one thing, Spirit is so capable of knowing exactly how to bring us to the highest level of joy that we can experience in our desire to have or experience A, B, and C. So what if our system was faulty? What if our system was a makeshift system based on our understanding, but Spirit had another plan, another system, another way of delivering what it is we are searching and running towards? Through prayer, contemplation, and stillness, speak to Spirit. Let it, first of all, your heart speaks to Spirit all the time, but get involved in the conversation. Tell Spirit what it is that you want. Really feel like you're having that dialogue. And then contemplation. Put your ear to the heavens and feel what you are being guided to do versus what you think you need to do to accomplish this thing. And then stillness. In between the moments where you're feeling guided, just be. Just be, and don't feel that if it is to be accomplished, you have to run towards it. That's not exactly 100% true. There's a lot of ways that Spirit can accomplish things in our life, even if we're not running towards it with full force. Force being the key word instead of surrender. Two different energies. One is in scarcity and one is in trust and faith. The next one is creative expression. This gives us a little focus of maybe some of the things we want. Your soul longs to express itself creatively. This does show a painter, and I know we had another artistic kind of card here in one of the other decks. It's not always necessarily that it has to be, dance, painting, writing, drawing, sketching. It could be that you're just building something with your own two hands, something physical, or you're making a little brain baby. You're building a program or a course or a business or like something like that. These things can be also our creative expression. So I do feel that a lot of you with this like run mentality, we think, I do feel a lot of you are attaching this to your career and to your business goals. It doesn't have to be that you are, but listen to me if you are. Please hear that Spirit says, we want success for you too. We want you to build the thing that you want to build. Who do you think gave you that desire in your heart? Where do you think that comes from? That comes from Spirit giving you your calling. But there's an easier, softer way when we work with the flow of the universe and we surrender to what that flow is and we let that flow bring us right where we need to go, rather than thinking that we have to do A, B, and C. Yeah, Spirit, I hear you. You're talking to me. This must be my deck. And the next one, career change. It says you're embarking upon a career that brings you the joy and abundance you desire and deserve. And at the top of this lighthouse is an angelic messenger shining a light and a beacon. I think what Spirit is telling me right now that it really wants me to convey is that when you think of the future, try not to think of it as a particular outcome. Try to think of it as a feeling or a sense of fulfillment, a level of fulfillment, a level of adoration for your days and your work. Try not to think so much that if we have to have this, there's this clear path that means if we do A, B, and C, we'll get D. Instead of focusing on that whole system, focus instead on how you want to feel, the impact you want to make, the joy you want to have, those you want to help, those you want to heal, those you want to serve. Think about all of those things and then let Spirit choose the river that floats you down that path, okay? But yes, we are talking about a lot of you career changes or changes basically in the up leveling, the going bigger, the going further, the going all in your career path. And again, for some of you, this may not be career, but purpose driven. It doesn't have to be that you make money from it. It could be just your purpose. But if you do want to make money, Spirit wants that for you too. Remember, if you want it in your heart, Spirit is having that for you. That's the flow we're talking about. The next card, open up, open up. This is where we go back to the card that says through prayer and contemplation and stillness, opening up. In that process where we open up, we receive the details that we do need to take the actions that will be aligned with Spirit rather than all the ones we figure out. I have a lot of times I channel from Spirit, hey, the system's figured out and Google it and just do that. But for you, deck 3, I think we have a little bit too much of the overthinking of it, the things that have to be in one way to get that certain outcome. Instead, I want you to open up. It's time to meditate. It's time to automatic write. It's time to channel some answers. It's time to hear what Spirit has to say versus what the internet has to say. Sometimes it is the guidance. Hey, go see what the internet has to say. But right now I'm asking you to be original and go to Spirit for the guidance that you need. Open up. Oh, and the intuition. Now it's upside down when I pull it. I'm not necessarily going to read that, but I'm going to read it as the fact that Spirit wants us to bump up our intuition. Yes, when you play catch with Spirit, you do need to be in communication with it. So be sure that you are focusing on your spiritual psychic life, where you are able to, even if you don't like the word psychic, intuitive, okay? Do feel that you are working hand in hand. Imagine that Spirit is your employee, that you have now employed them as your virtual assistant. Spirit is your virtual assistant. There's the book, what is it, from Gabby Bernstein? God is my publisher, or my something like that. It's something like that. My promoter or whatever. So just think about how much more powerful you'll have with Spirit in your employ, using your intuition. The next one is giving birth. I love this because we are talking about going further, going more, going deeper, right? And it says, I am bringing forth new and dynamic energy into the world. When you're birthing something new and dynamic, of course, there's not going to be the answer on the internet. You're doing something new, quite possibly. So it really does help to kind of break free from the limitations that are the system that you could be running into the ground doing. Instead, innovating items need innovating solutions and innovating processes and flows and paths to success. So allow yourself the opportunity to acknowledge that birthing process of something new, and don't be so hard on yourself if the old systems you've tried or the patterns and the behaviors and the things you've tried haven't quite hit the mark. You're creating something new. You're in new territory, so it's totally okay. And lastly, we have a love card. Engagement. I do love this card. It's about two things, two people, whether this is about your love life or otherwise, we'll get into that, but this is two people or two things, two spiritual bodies putting hand in hand, moving forward together, making that commitment, making the pre-contract, drafting the contract in which this moves forward. It says your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. Let's take out love. Your life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. With any love or life commitment and the ascension of it, you will have to step up your game. The old solutions don't work for the new energy. So please feel that you are putting yourself, surrendering into the presence through contemplation. You're taking that time out. All of these cards, I'll spread out here for you here just to remind you. But deck 3, don't think that you are the only way you're going to solve your problems. Remember Spirit. Okay, will you do that for me? Thank you so much, deck 3. Mwah. Welcome, deck 4. Under the Amazonite crystal. You know, what's really interesting is this stone, usually in my stone readings, my crystal readings, talks about overseas travel or travel out of the country. So that's just an extra little tidbit you get for choosing deck number 4. Let's begin. My first card, oh, I love how we have an ocean and the starfish here. Let's see what it says. Making a difference. So remember, this is about your predictions, your blessings, and advice for May 2020. The first thing says, my inner light shines far and wide. And the travel crystal, okay, I already understand what Spirit is doing here. They're talking about going global, if you will, going big, reaching more people in the world with your love and your light. Whether this is something you're thinking about in your career, or you're thinking about it in terms of service, or you're thinking about it in terms of those you love and being able to show up for them so that they can create something big and massive. The energy around deck 4, you guys, is all about blowing it up. More dreams, more blessings, more manifestations, more financial resource, more. And more is not bad. More is not selfish. More light and love is beautiful. More listening and connection to Spirit is essential for your spiritual growth. More reach means that you can influence and impact in a greater way. This is all a very, very beautiful message already. The next one, look at this, is Flamingo Spirit. Embrace the in-between. So how many of you, if you really were honest, deck 4, I think these are my big thinkers, my big idea people, my people with vision, my people with purpose, my people with passion. Deck 4, if this is you and this is speaking to a desire you have to show up, even kind of maybe even be somebody, right? You have something to say, you have healing you want to share, you have, again, impact and influence you want to make. The in-between time is where you may be finding yourself right now. The in-between time suggests that you're not quite making the impact or influence or the money or having the big grand thing, that you're either starting small or you're kind of in the middle of thinking about how to go bigger, how to go do more, accomplish more, and all of that. So this says embrace the in-between. You don't get to the top, deck 4, before you learn how to master the middle and the bottom. So be sure as you're moving through each task on your list of to-dos, either purposefully with a career-driven aspect or with, just even the love and family in your life. If you're trying to get from point A to point B, let's talk about a marriage, okay? If you have a marriage and you see it could be so grand, or a relationship that could be great, but right now you're kind of in the between phase, it's the strength you build now that will be the foundation of why the thing's so great in the first place. Use that metaphor for anything in your life that you're asking and seeking guidance about, or what's on your plate in May 2020. What are you thinking about? Are you thinking about love? Are you thinking about family? Are you thinking about money? Are you thinking about business? Please apply this to what it is that's on your plate this month, because it is relevant. It's the string that connects us all, deck 4, is you wanting to go bigger, but mastering where you're at is going to be the foundation that bigger is built upon. So honor it, embrace it. The next thing, we have a cute little owl here. I like that. I do whatever it takes to get closer to consciousness. Now this infuses the message of going bigger with purpose behind it. You don't just necessarily want to go bigger just for the money, just for the fame, just for the attention. You don't want to necessarily have a relationship just to show it off. You don't want to have a home or a car or a family just to show off. You want it to have depth. You want it to be authentic. You want it to have substance. This is the consciousness that we're talking about, infusing all of your desires with that which is actually real and deep and beautiful and meaningful. So be sure when you're thinking about the things you're creating, that you let the meaningfulness, the consciousness of whatever it is, be at the forefront of your attention, because that again is the foundation that all this success is built upon, and the thing that we're supposed to be embracing right now. So consciousness, exchange that for depth, meaning, purpose, whatever you want. It's not just about, I'm not saying the success is, bad thing to think about. Having the end result is beautiful, and that's what we vision when we try to manifest. I get that. But put heart behind it. Put heart behind it. Meaningfulness. Why is it that that's so important to you? Remember that why. Next card is options. I like the options card. This is why. It says career possibilities. But again, if this is not about your career, please take this in account of what it is that's in your life right now happening and what's important to you. But it says consider the possibilities that are open to you. The possibilities, okay? Sky's the limit. No, I take that back. The sky is not the limit. You can go even further than that. I take it back. Sky is not the limit. There is no limit. You can create and go anywhere or do anything you want to do. The only thing about it is that it has to be connected to your why. It has to be. These options that you have to consider are going to open up the playing field for doing many different things that could create the change. And yes, you'll get to navigate it, but as you make decisions about which direction you're going to head in order to build or accomplish, just remember that it should be aligned with your joy, your why. Your just please, please, please don't do the things that just make sense to do. Do the things that feel like they tug on your heart. Do the things that are meaningful. And I'm also hearing in my ears right now, learn from others. Learn from others. In deck 3, we talked a lot about basically breaking the mold. But for you, deck 4, I do feel that there's a lot of people out there that are actually doing what you want to do in a certain way. They'll do it differently than you. They'll have a different relationship, a different career, a different message, a different healing gift. They're different, but they've done certain things that feel good to them. And when you look on to those people and you go, oh, I like that, I respond to that, it's a clue. It's a clue that maybe you can take some of the routes that they took and build and accomplish what it is that you're resonating with. So I do hear, please learn from others. Please learn from others. Very important. The next card here, aha! I love this card. I've loved this picture for a long time too. It says, you're on the right path. Yes, we were talking about options just before this, right? But the options you have chosen, or that you're so close to choosing right now with the right affirmation and guidance, maybe even from this video, the options you've selected are the right ones. You're right on it. You're tuned in. You got it. You got it. You're doing it. It says, keep doing what you're doing because it's working. I also see the promise in my mind. If you pursue the options that feel like they're choosing you, okay? Like I said, you learn from someone, they have a thing, you resonate with it, it's choosing you, you know what I mean? It's you have a connection with it, then do those options, take those paths, do those things, create those items, whatever it is, those systems in your life, and know that it is the right path. You are on the right path. The prediction I have for May 2020 basically for you is that you're headed in the right direction. The blessing is that the confusion doesn't have to be there anymore. We know you are very clearly being drawn, and that you are mastering the middle level just to bring it higher, higher, and bigger, bigger. The next one is healing begins. Again, this importance on the heart. Healing is also basically a way of saying improving, right? Improving or breathing more vitality and life into something. So it could be that it's also looked at as mastering, having a masterful approach to what it is that you're doing. Whether it's healing that you respond to or mastering that you respond to, there is so much room to create, I want to say perfection, not in a bad way, but in a way that says it's so aligned and consciously connected with meaning that I do describe it as perfect. It feels perfect. And I do love this. So it begins now. Even if it hasn't begun up until this point, I'm telling you, May 2020 is where the masterfulness starts to come into these areas of your life. You're getting the hang of it because you're on the right path. The last one, simply love, simply love. I did wonder if there were other people in your life that you were influencing. Did we get that? Yes, you're bringing your families aboard. This is a card that sometimes says talk about family. Sometimes it talks about employees or those lower than you, children, or it talks about you being sort of the child of a hierarchy, of a structure above you. So that could be your parents or your guidance or your mentors, right? So it's just basically saying that the simply love, it's talking about the way you're going to feel. It's not talking about all this talk about the thing you're going to build, right? The thing that you're going to have or the accomplishment you're going to make. On the contrary, the real golden ticket is how you feel. That you just feel simply loved and connected, and love is working in and out of your life, and it flows in and it's out and through you to all of the other people that you come into contact with. It's a trick, Spirit has this desire that they put in our heart to build something, and here we go, and we master it and we build it, and through it we find love. We find that we feel meaningfulness. So it's a trick, So don't lose sight that when you have a goal in mind for building a thing or having a thing, remember that that's Spirit tricking you into falling in love, really, with your life and with the narrative of being a human being on the planet at this time. And speaking of love, let's get our romance card. Here we go. Give your relationship a chance. Work on your partnership. Let's talk about you couples out there first, okay? For you couples, remember, like we said earlier, about mastery, right? Things don't just work on accident. They work because you perfect them or you master them. Remember that the person who is in your life deserves, and you deserve also from them, bringing a real intent to have that A game and that level of mastery play into your love life and into your relationships. If you are single, this is the time to say, it's time to give a relationship a chance. Are you feeling like it is time? If you're feeling like it's time, you got to give it a chance. Give it a chance. And in order to do that, I hear heaven and Spirit just telling me right now, the first thing it wants you to do is just allow yourself the permission to want it. Because so often if we want it and we don't think we can have it, we feel ashamed. Like it starts happening just after that we feel ashamed. Oh, I want that, but I'll never be good at that. That's like when we think we look pretty and then someone's like, are you tired? You're like, oh, it must have been a mistake that I thought I looked pretty, right? It's a risk, I get it. And it's not about the way you look or whatever, it's just an example. But give the fact that you want a relationship a chance. Let it breathe, let it be acknowledged. Don't be ashamed, okay? So, and as far as a whole message, giving it a chance. Keep giving a second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth chance to the things that you care about. That is where mastery comes from. You hardly ever master it on the second try. You have to keep giving it more chances and more chances and more chances. And through that is the magic that will occur. Thank you, Deck 4. We'll see you on the next video. I want to thank you for tuning in to the May 2020 Pick a Card reading and invite you to hop on over to my website, tananewberry.com, where I have prepared some free psychic training for you that I super love and am so excited about. It is called Remove Your Psychic Reading Blocks. So hop on over to the website and enjoy your free training. If you'd like to book a personal psychic reading session with me, you can join me at www.tananewberry.com. I have a number of different reading sessions and healing sessions there to choose from, and I am very much looking forward to working with you. See you next time.